On this video, I'm going to talk about a great video I saw online recently and what it tells us. So before watching this video, check out infuriated.com, especially if you're an expat or a high net wealth individual. Now, on this video, I'm going to talk about a very unique video that I saw online recently. And it's showing Dubai in 1987. And if you watch the video on YouTube, it's incredible. When you see the video, it looks like Dubai at that stage was maybe poorer than many other Arab countries and was relatively poor, or maybe by income it was much richer, I don't know. But the infrastructure was very poor in many parts of the city. Now, during that time, I think most people would have considered you mad to live in Dubai, whereas now many people want to live in Dubai. And it shows a very important point, and that's that a country which is underdeveloped today is not always underdeveloped in the future. And I'm sure in Dubai, expats and other people who got into the market early made far more money than those people who actually waited until it became very developed before getting in. So I can remember in the 2000s, people started to talk about Dubai a bit. By 2005, especially 2008, more and more people spoke about it. But in the 90s, hardly anyone spoke about it, never mind the 80s. So often a business person and even an expat who's looking for job opportunities has to get in during a moment when it's off the beaten track, because once everyone's talking about it, things get more expensive. The opportunities sometimes get more limited because there's more competition. So another example is China. When I first visited China in 2007, I went to Shenzhen, which was at that point the fastest growing city in the world, in the history of the world, shall I say. I stayed in the Bao'an area, which is where the airport is. And that was one of the fastest growing parts of Shenzhen at that time. And I met a gentleman who was working in Shenzhen, and most people would have thought he was crazy to work in Shenzhen in 2007. But the funny thing is, fewer people think that now. And what's interesting is I far preferred the Shenzhen of then compared to now. Sometimes there's something more interesting about a place which is up and coming and exciting and growing very fast, albeit from a lower level compared to when a place becomes more developed. So I can remember taking taxi rides, no one would care about seatbelts or whatever. Things were much more laid back, whereas now things have changed. So when it comes to expats in particular, I don't think you have to care about necessarily how developed a place is now, provided it's got all those basic things like, I think the internet and things like that are obviously very important for people's jobs now. But potential can also be very important when it comes to living in a place. But obviously it depends what you want from life. But if you're a business owner or somebody like that, who knows, maybe finding the next Dubai or the next Singapore is actually better than just finding the real thing. How can I help you? In two ways. First of all, are you an expat, a high net wealth individual, or just somebody who lives in a part of the world where it's difficult to get access to quality investment solutions? In which case, go onto my website on infuriated.com and find out more. If you don't fit into any of those categories, then in which case there's a range of free material on my website, on this YouTube channel, and indeed on my Quora, where I get over 200 or have received over 231 million views in the last few years. And finally, if you want to actually read my thoughts in more detail, go onto Amazon and find my book on there.